What makes RINO special is the degree to which people are sharing space, and that you're seeing these collectives emerge where they're making better use of space and they're sharing services. If you go to the laundry, for example, you're going to find sort of some centralized systems that are available for different constituents to use. I also think the experimental nature of artists working together across mediums is unique to this community.
I'm Brian Freeland. I'm the Executive Artistic Director for the LIDA Project, which is an experimental theater company here in RINO.
I'm Patrick Mueller. I'm the Artistic Director of Control Group Productions. We're a dance and live performance company, and now I'm the Executive Co-Director at Workspace Denver Theater at 27th and Lawrence in the Laundry on Lawrence building.
Workspace is a theater run by the LIDA Project and Control Group Productions, who are the two resident companies in the theater. We happen to be inside of a larger co-op collective that is the Laundry on Lawrence, which is a building that was developed by the space creators, who have developed a couple of other properties up here in RINO, Walnut Workshop and the Wazi Union.
RINO is partly I think a sprawling arts district and a geography that is particularly interesting and has a very distinct flavor. It has a different sensibility, I think, than a residential neighborhood because it's mostly large industrial and post-industrial buildings.
When I was an undergraduate, I was back east, and a lot of influence from squat performance spaces, abandoned buildings in New York City that artists somewhat reclaimed. And back in the early 90s, that was this area of town. This was before the ball field came in. There were some folks pioneering and living up here, but by and large, it was pretty much either abandoned or small industrial. And then when I came back into town after undergraduate, after having grown up here, that's where I wanted to gravitate to. That's where I wanted a place where find a large industrial space to create art in and essentially make big work or bold work or experimental work. And this was the neighborhood that allowed cheap rents and no questions.
Our first theater, it was a unit in an old packing house, and we had performance in the front, and I lived in the back. Not the loft that you think about in terms of the sort of luxury condominium that is available. A real loft, one window and everything made out of metal. You had to wear slippers everywhere because the stairs were metal grating. It was bohemian. There's
a history to every building. The Laundry at Lawrence, where we live and where we make our work. I mean, it was an industrial laundry that was in operation since 1892, and now theater and performance is being made here. So I think that's the charm when people come up from different parts of the city. It's a real eclectic blend of the old and the new.
I think there's a value to coalescing parts of the community that are like-minded with performing arts, and I think the same with visual arts. It's hard to fill up a theater or a gallery 365 days a year by one artist. Having LIDA's brand and their aesthetic connected to ours enhances our value, enhances our reach in terms of audiences.
For LIDA Project and for Control Group and for Workspace, one of the only performing arts entities up here, and it's very mindful and it's very purposeful. I think we hope to reflect the nature of experimentation and newness and freshness by being in this neighborhood. You can't manufacture this. It's what people strive for in other communities. And you see it sometimes artificially be created. We're gonna have our arts center over here. We're gonna make it look like an old industrial building, but I mean, this is the bones. This is the bones of the city. It's what built the city. It's what built a lot of the West. I mean, all of these industrial places. It's intriguing to me that now we're building and we're bargaining on new capital, on an overused term, but creative capital. You're all invited. Come on up.